This is 5-Minute Feng Shui Podcast, episode 107. What's it like to work as a Feng Shui consultant? Welcome to the 5-Minute Feng Shui Podcast, where each week I talk about how to move energy and make money. You'll learn how to create a prosperous home and an abundant life using classical Chinese Feng Shui. I'm your host, Katie Weber, publisher of the Red Lotus Letter, Feng Shui Easing for Wealth. Each week, I'll cover Feng Shui topics that can help you improve your life, share inspiring stories, and always end with 3 easy-to-implement Feng Shui tips that you can put to work right away, and usually in about 5 minutes. Now let's get started on the 5 minutes that could change your life. Welcome and hello. I hope you are having a fantastic day. We finally have gotten some cold weather. I've been waiting for it, and it's so nice not to have a layer of sweat. That's one of the things that I always notice, of course, living in the South, that you just never go anywhere without that layer. But today I'm actually wearing physical clothing layers. It's a little cool, a little dreary outside, perfect for sweaters and for soup. Nothing I love better than soup. I probably should have been born in Minnesota because I do love soup. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. I love soup. You can hold a mug of soup and it's so easy to eat, and it just always makes me feel good, especially in cool weather like this. Well, today I am talking about what it is like to work as a Feng Shui consultant. And this is a topic that many people ask me, how did I get started? What did I do? And what's my story? And so I took a little bit of a different route, but not altogether unlike other Feng Shui consultants. It started with a hobby. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that and what it's like working as a Feng Shui consultant, and some of the things I've learned, and some tips about how you can work as a Feng Shui consultant if that's something you would like to do. Now, a Feng Shui consultant often gets started in his or her Feng Shui career by applying Feng Shui to their own homes. And that's what got me interested in Feng Shui. I needed to sell my house that was for sale and had been sitting on the market for months. I think I talked about this story in one of the podcast episodes about how to sell your home. And this was one of the times that for me was very frustrating, and I was ready to do just about anything because my husband was living half the country away, and that house needed to be sold. We just needed to get it done so we could move on with our lives, and I can move out to North Carolina to join him. This is where he had moved to. With a new job. So what I found is when I implemented some Feng Shui changes, because our house had no viewings or showings of potential buyers, and I needed to get some activity going. So I made these Feng Shui changes, and I kid you not, I got a call in the afternoon, like within hours of making these changes, from my realtor, and she scheduled 2 showings, and within 4 days we had 2 offers. So it was just astounding how quickly it worked, and yeah, I was sold, I was absolutely, literally, or my house was sold. But I moved out to North Carolina, and I needed to find a job. So I said, well, let me just try this Feng Shui stuff again. Because, I'm still in my Western head thinking, oh, come on. Really? No, you can't just move stuff around or paint it a certain color or do dumb stuff like that. That's not going to make a difference. Well, sure enough, it did. I found a job, and I just Feng Shuied myself into a 6-figure career, and my husband the same. We just kept going up, up, up in our careers, which was really great. I was working for a company who provided services to pharmaceutical companies for marketing and communications. And what I learned was that I was able to make money for that company that helped create the proposals that kept that business going and successful. my feeling was that if I could do that for that company, I could create my own company and do it for myself. And not only that, I wouldn't be spending every night and weekend at the office by myself, keeping it all going. And that was a big lesson to me, because I felt like once I had done it for a business, I thought I could create my own business. And that was a big shift in my mindset. And it was this shift that enabled me to actually leave my job and start my own business, and actually at a time that was not considered to be a very good time. I left my career 1 month before 9/11, but even then, my business took off. It's amazing how Feng Shui works for you. I found that once I made that commitment, that the energy began to move with me and for me. And I had opportunities come up for clients to be invited on a radio station to do weekly call-ins for a radio station, where people would call in and ask their Feng Shui questions, and I'd answer them on the air. And I even worked with the radio team on getting their contracts signed and helping them secure their positions and making that show continue on, because I don't know if you know, radio and TV personalities work on contract, and sometimes those contracts are up for renegotiation. And this renegotiation had been going on for some time, and so I helped this radio pair. Actually, it was a guy and a girl that didn't have their contract signed and were worried about renewing. And the girl also wanted to know how she could use Feng Shui to get married, and I told her if she would make these certain changes that she would be married within a year. Well, within 6 months she was engaged, and 2 months after that she was married. So it all worked out. There is a fairy tale with Feng Shui for sure. Now that's 20 years ago now, but working as a Feng Shui consultant has brought me opportunities that I would never have had otherwise, like creating my own Feng Shui jewelry line for Home Shopping Network, publishing a nationally syndicated and nationally syndicating my DIY Calm Living Space through the Chicago Tribune newspaper syndication service, and be able to travel to some pretty great far-flung destinations, open a Feng Shui boutique, train consultants, and work with some really prestigious architectural firms and some very well-heeled clients. Now, working as a Feng Shui consultant has really given me a chance to blossom in my personal life too. It gave me the opportunity to create my own career, raise my son, and take care of my home and family while my husband was busy and traveling for his job. Simply being able to be there for my family and their needs was a priority for me. And the thing I loved about working as a Feng Shui consultant is it let me build something on my own, in addition to keeping our family going and strengthening our home life. So that's all great. That's all the reasons why I did it. But what's it actually like to work as a Feng Shui consultant? Well, the truth is, it's pretty much like any other business, right? There's routine work that has to be done, like answering phone calls and emails, paying bills, ordering supplies, and fixing computer and technology issues. What's different, though, is the chance to talk to people from all over the globe because of my online newsletter, the Red Lotus Letter, that I started back in 2001, and my podcast, 5 Minute Feng Shui, that you're listening to now, that I started 2 years ago in 2018. In fact, that's really what got my business going, was sending out that Feng Shui newsletter. There really wasn't anything like that at the time. There were a few things about Feng Shui, but not a whole lot. It really hadn't caught fire. But in just a few short years, it really did. And having that newsletter was a way that people could find me and find out about Feng Shui and reach out to me when they were looking for a Feng Shui consultation. It really worked well for me as a vehicle for people finding me, and as a marketing tool as well. And it absolutely has been one of the best things that I've ever done, because I find that working as a Feng Shui consultant, you have to have something that sort of sets you apart and that helps people to find you. And that's what the Red Lotus Letter has really done for me, just like this podcast it has. But the truth is that working as a Feng Shui consultant, or in any business for that matter, means people need to find you. They need to be able to find you to work with you. And that takes marketing. And the easiest way to get started is with a website, and it's vital that anyone in business has one today, because what's the first thing that anyone does these days when they're looking for any kind of service or professional? They Google it. And to work as a Feng Shui consultant, I knew even back in 2000 that I'd have to have a website so people would know I was available and that they could find me online. So I used a website building service. It was called Homestead. I even remember Martha Stewart recommended it. In fact, I think that's how I found out about it. I was watching a Martha Stewart show one day, cooking show or something, but she would do different things. You know, she does all kinds of crafts and that kind of thing. And she was talking about building websites of all things, and she was talking about how she liked Homestead. Well, that's what I did. I signed up for Homestead, and I dedicated a week to creating my own Feng Shui website. And once I flipped the switch and my website went live, I got a call within 2 days from a client for a large property. That website worked fast. But here's what I can also tell you, and this is true of any business, and that's once you make a firm commitment, and some people would say burn the boats, you know, that there's an expression that, you know, when you arrive at a place and you're committed to making it go and you're going to be a pioneer, that you burn the boats that brought you there so that you don't have any way to turn back. I don't really like that expression, but here's what I do like, and that is in order for energy to work with you, you have to be committed. You have to be dedicated and plant your flag in the ground. This is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to make money at it, and this is going to be my new career. And it's amazing how circumstances will turn in your favor once you are firmly committed and decisive in your own mind. So from that website, I started my Feng Shui newsletter, the Red Lotus Letter. Some people ask how I named it, and I believe that, heart is where the home is. It is. We start our days here. We experience our highs, our lows, our love, our everything in between at our home. And since heart is where the home is, that was a symbol, Buddhist symbol is the red lotus for the heart. So I said, hey, I'll just call it the Red Lotus Letter. And after that, really from that point forward, that's when clients came to me. I didn't have to go and work so hard to find them. They found me, which is the ideal, right, in business. Now, today I work with clients all over the world and of all sizes. Some are corporations, some are architects, designers, some are businesses, and many are homeowners. I've worked on everything from very small homes and apartments to manufactured homes to manufacturing sites. Kid you not, a cooking oil plant is one that comes to mind. I've worked on resorts and office buildings and pretty much everything in between, even just somebody's office. You can feng shui just about anything except an RV. That's a little bit harder to do because you can't always determine what those directions are. There's no real corners if you're always on the go in an RV. But other than that, I have feng shui just about whatever there is to feng shui. Now, my bread and butter client, it's homeowners every time. I love to help homeowners find the best home, a better arrangement for their home, to select a building site that can bring them their best options for creating their most effective or supportive home. And it's really exciting when a client payment comes in because I never know where that client's going to come from. And my clients have been from all over the world, like Europe, the United Kingdom, Mexico, South America, the Middle East, Australia, lots of down unders in Australia, New Zealand, even Turkey, South Africa, and of course the US, and for houses both modest and large. Their problems, like their homes, have all ranged in scope and complexity too. Some homes are really enormous, and there's really not, and may not have anything to do, and then there for feng shui, and it's very easy. And then there may be some smaller home or room that is full of complexity. You just never know. It's really, it's a puzzle every time when you get a new client. Now, in the course of my consulting career, I've been asked to handle all kinds of problems, difficult love relationships, major illnesses like cancer, to mystery illnesses like mystery bleeding. I had a client who was having bleeding problems, and we found the root of that and stopped it after she had been to countless doctors. We worked on infidelity, career problems, and money issues. There's also been homes where family members battle with mental illness, addictions, and homes where there was a suicide. Really, as a feng shui consultant, you've got to be ready for anything. You just don't ever know what is going to land in your lap, and people need help, right? They need to know that you are someone they can trust. So working as a feng shui consultant really means that you have to be an understanding and non-judgmental and patient person. I mean, after all, they're confiding in you and asking for help, so keeping confidences and trust is an absolute must. Now, sometimes you have to deliver bad news, like if you can't fix a problem, or if the client is unwilling to make a change, or maybe their home's feng shui is too difficult to overcome, like a geodesic dome or a place next to a dump. I have seen those, and there's some things you can't overcome. No one can live inside of a round room. Well, you can, but it works your nerves. Let's just put it that way. But the majority of time, though, you're working to find ways to help someone's home support their goals and their family's goals and ambitions, and that's the part of the job I love. Now, those are all some of the more extreme examples, but they are things that come up. And in fact, my client that I got right off the bat once I launched my website. Oh my goodness, it was for a huge office building, and they were doing a complete gut renovation, and it was very lengthy and detailed, multiple floors, all kinds of stuff. But it was a great feng shui starting point for me. The client was great, and I learned so much on the job with that particular client and that particular building, and worked on many, many homes and offices for this client. It's been a real privilege. By and large, though, it's your average home that you're going to be working on most of the time, and it's usually what I work on most of the time, and it gives me a lot of satisfaction. I love working with clients and helping them make their home the best it can be. This has been a really fun time to talk about what it's like to work as a feng shui consultant. So you're going to have, sometimes you're going to need to settle disputes between family members or help them create situations that can change the dynamics. You're going to help them with colors, with furniture arrangement, with which bedroom is right for which child, all kinds of things, even helping with behavioral issues in children, and finding ways to create a bedroom that is going to make them, maybe feel more secure or more settled, or to help relationships, married couples and partnerships where the couple isn't getting along. You have to play feng shui detective and look at their bedroom and see where's something out of alignment. How can we fix this to make it so that they are both feeling more supported and the relationship is happier and more grounded? These are all some of the things that you're going to be working with in feng shui, and looking at what the house is saying. What is the house saying? How do I read this house as a symbol? So for instance, when I say that as a symbol, I think about someone who just wrote me recently about her niece bought a 4-bedroom house, and in this house she has a large laundry room, and that's where she decided to make her home office. It was in the laundry room. Above her head was a big metal rack with pots over it. The washer and dryer are behind her at her back, and it makes us say, what does this symbolize? Well, it symbolizes somebody's career going down the drain, because what do we do in a laundry room, right? We wring out our mops, and we hang our brooms up there. We do put our dirty clothes in there and wash them, and all that dirty water drains out the laundry room plumbing. It's saying that business is equating with removing dirt and dust and grime in our home and in our clothes, and we've got that dirty draining water. It's symbolizing a career or business that's going down the drain. Hopefully she will move that office out of the laundry room and into a proper workspace, like one of the 4 bedrooms that she has, and that will support her office. It will support her business and her career, and help her business and career grow instead of seeing it drained away from her. So that's what I mean when we talk about symbolism. But really the most frequent reason that clients give me for scheduling a consultation, they simply want good feng shui. They want the kind of home that supports their family, their relationships, good health, and financial security. In short, they just want a good home that helps them create a great life. And as a Feng Shui consultant, that's my job, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. All right, well, I'm going to leave you 3 tips just in case you're thinking of becoming a Feng Shui consultant, and what are the top 3 things that you should do if you're thinking about it. Number 1 is get some training. You can go to the International Feng Shui Guild, and they have courses and classes. I also am working on a conference that I'll be delivering next spring. I'll tell you about that in a moment, but number 1 is get that training and decide what you're going to practice. Is it going to be classical Chinese Feng Shui, or is it going to be more the Western type of Feng Shui, like what you see more commonly here in the United States and the UK, maybe sometimes in Europe. Basically, it's 2 different types, and so you need to decide which one, because they work very differently, and so you'll need to decide that once you get your training. And the other way is to get started is just to help other people, to get your practice. It's important that you work with actual homes and you look at how you can help that person with your Feng Shui knowledge and training and expertise. So offer up free consultations for friends or family members, and let them help you grow and get your practice by helping them, and they're helping you at the same time. The other thing I would suggest that you do is to offer a unique view or perspective. I try to take a little bit of a fresh view on Feng Shui. I like to keep it all about the house, and I publish an internet newsletter, the Red Lotus letter, and that gets the word out. People love those Feng Shui tips, so find a way that you can market yourself. Maybe it's YouTube videos, maybe it's through Instagram. Just find your unique way and get your website out so people can find you in your. Well, this was a fun episode for me to talk about what I do for a living, how I got started, and to help you work as a Feng Shui consultant if you're interested in that too. I hope it was a fun episode for you as well, just to take a peek inside my world and see what I do for a living. If you're interested in learning more about Feng Shui as a practice or as a business, be sure to go to my website at redlotusletter.com/conference-course. I'll read that again. It is redlotusletter.com/conference-course. And that'll put your name on a list for a first notification when our new class comes out in the spring 2021. All right, I hope you had a great day. Have a terrific week. Stay warm, eat some soup, and I'll talk to you on the next time at 5 Minute Feng Shui. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of 5 Minute Feng Shui. If you did, please be sure to share this episode with your friends on social media, and let's change the world one home at a time. For more Feng Shui information and inspiration, sign up for my free weekly Feng Shui Easy. Just drop by redlotusletter.com to sign up, and I'll be in your inbox every Wednesday. And if you like this episode, I'd love it if you left a review on iTunes. If you do, send me the screenshot of your review to katie@redlotusletter.com with iTunes review in the subject line, and I'll send you a free gift as my thank you. I'll see you next week on the next episode of 5 Minute Feng Shui.